It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Captain, a vessel approaching.
On screen.
We're being hailed.
Every weekend over at gearwebsites.com, our online store, we have free Patch Friday. And that means that every order placed on our store on Fridays is going to include at least one free patch. So that's every order with no coupons, no minimum order, no codes needed. You place the order on Friday, and when it arrives to you, it's going to have at least one free patch. Your support means a lot to us, and financial support is critical. So thanks again to the people who keep us online through purchases at gearwebsites.com.
There we go. Welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Come to you live every weeknight and on Fridays at midnight Eastern. Our puppy co-host just came in from going potty, and it's raining out there, so he doesn't know what to think. He's not real happy about it. He likes going outside, but he doesn't like rain. So he's a little perplexed, I guess. Maybe he'll go back to sleep. Maybe he'll be awake for the show. Let's find out. So thanks for the feedback on the audio. Crabby Turtles out there joining us. You're the only one out there. So we're narrow casting tonight. So we go live whenever possible to record these podcasts on the YouTube. Soon to be expanding that out a little bit to some of these other platforms. We're going to be experimenting on some of the other platforms a little bit more going into 2024. But we go live. I appreciate the live or the interactive nature of the internet. You know, you can go back and forth. It's not TV like when we were little kids. It's not a newspaper or something where all you can do is read. We can be part of this whole thing. We can go back and forth and have conversations. So I've been doing live stuff as long as we've been able to do live stuff. And we do appreciate people that join us live. Now, we do this in the middle of the night, which means we appreciate even more the people that join us live, because that either means you're one of those folks that are up all night, night owls, or, well, you have to be a night owl, I guess, to be up. Or if you're listening to it, you might be one of those folks who's up overnight getting the world reset, cleaned up, built, delivered, and all the rest. So, been a night shift person myself quite a bit, so I like doing the show in the middle of the night. And again, much appreciated all the people that join us live. So if you're out there, let us know. Now, there are a lot of people, at least one guy out there, who says I shouldn't have... No, there's two people out there that say I shouldn't have a dog as a co-host, or even on a show for that matter. But here's what I'm doing. Well, what we're going to be taking a look at tonight is the description of this video. So let me grab that. I'll put it on the screen behind Puppy over here, so we can watch both the puppy and the description here, since I don't think that many people read along on the screen anyway. And the first thing let's do is set up the poll. I like to have a poll each week with the same question. How was this week for 2A? Guess what? You do something on a regular basis. This gives us the ability to keep a finger on the pulse. You know, not that many people answer the question, but some people do. And if some scholar in the future, some robot scholar, was going to go back and get the answers, would you quit doing this weird stuff on my life? Some robot scholar wanted to go into all of our different responses. That'd be interesting, you know, because we have this consistent data set. So we got great week for 2A, and then we'll put in good week. Option number 2. He's going right back for it. And then the last one will be bad week. So again, feel free to answer how you'd like, and then leave us some sort of a reason for your answer. And because of a bad co-host, we're going to have to go to screen sharing. So there maybe that guy is right that you should never have a dog on a screen, because dogs are gross and filthy. So I guess we can bring this over here, zap this over to here, and we'll drop the puppy down to the bottom. Oh, of course, now that he's not going to be on the screen, he'll be good, but that's the nature of puppies. All right, so then we'll, for now, jump into the description of this video. There's the poll we just alluded to over here. Guess who voted? 2 people. All right, so let's zoom in a little bit. Normally, I would take this over to a better platform, a platform that has more interesting formatting, so that would look a little bit more visually interesting, a little easier to understand. Didn't have the time this week, and I appreciate everybody who is patient with that, but trying to kill bills, essentially, getting rid of bills by making money while there's money to be made type of thing. And this stuff gets kicked onto the back burner because it is not killing bills. This stuff is not quite a hobby. I'm doing this with an intent, but it is not paying the bills. So, again, appreciate the people that are patient with the pace of our efforts here. All right, so normally we would do this on, Substack, because it looks way better. But we're going to do it on YouTube today. And this will remind us all why YouTube is kind of bland and why they, for some reason, won't give us any formatting down here. But this is our Daily Gun Show. It's episode 1655, so 1,655 episodes. I always like to look at it like some people have done their 5th episode of some show. And that's pretty fun. I can't remember the 5th episode of this show anymore. But I can remember those days when me and Bob first started getting it off the ground. And we really wanted it to be something different than what it is now, you can imagine. We wanted it to be just me and Bob hosting, and people, because this was this was 2016. This was gun channels before Clover and them were around. Like, Clover and them all came around after. So we wanted it to be something where we would just kind of be DJs way before DJ. I don't think DJ was born yet. And we were going to have people send in 20-minute, 10-minute videos, and we would just do like an MTV thing and let people send in videos, and we would just play their videos, kind of like what Gizzard does, except with videos and without all them other people. So that's how we started out this thing, in the 5th show, something like that. We figured out by the 5th show that wasn't going to happen because nobody made any videos for us. Then we've got the 50th show. I can't remember the 50th. All right, that's weird. So, am I back again? Get rid of the camera, I guess. What's wrong with the camera now all of a sudden? I mean, I know this dog is ugly. Huh. You broke the camera, buddy. Wait, oh my goodness. So, oh, now we don't even have that. We're back again now. So, oh my goodness, what a mess. So, how embarrassing. Let's go ahead and open up the orange screen again, and then we'll already doing that. So now I have to open up a window. Oh, you know what I can do? I can open up this, open it up over here, and jam it over here, and essentially, eventually, this will pop. Nope, didn't pop up there. This will though. There we go. All right, is this the dog's fault? Of course it is. Yes, he's the co-host. He's supposed to be in charge of these things. He doesn't even take his duty seriously. He doesn't even care about getting his cameras all set up before the show. Everybody knows this. It's pretty obvious at this point. But let's go ahead and try to get, I apologize. Let's try to get back onto track here. I was thinking about getting a cat for a co-host. Some of the shows that have cat co-hosts seem to do pretty good. But I don't know. It just seems like some kind of blasphemy. Yeah, well, don't sneeze all over everything now. Now he's sneezing all over everything. Like, that's going to make it better. All right, so earlier, before everything got ruined, and we're back again, we're talking about all the places we put this and why. Big, important stuff. And then I was saying thanks to the Patreons. Hopefully that didn't get lost. The Patreons make it possible for us to do what we're doing over here. It doesn't take a lot of costs, but I'm not independently wealthy, so when things get dire, like they did a little bit earlier this year, it was the Patreons that made it possible to keep all this stuff going. So I really do appreciate that. And now we would like to grow. I've got some software I'd like to get. Essentially, think of it if we're all out here doing our thing as content creators. Some of us are mechanics and some of us are drivers, right? I've driven a lot, but I'm more of a mechanic. Like, I don't mind. I can get in the pilot seat. I can get in the driver's seat, whatever you want to say. I can drive. Hey. But I'm not one of these people trying to get, all famous or whatever. I'm a mechanic. I originally built these things. I like to build stuff. So there's some software, some diagnostic software, technically, is what it is, that I'd like to subscribe to. But it's $100 a month, and there's 2 of them that are like that level. So if you're a patriot, if you value what I'm doing and the people that I contact with and people that I work with, if you'd like to give us some diagnostic tools, then consider being a Patreon. 4 $25 Patreons would let me get that software. I just dropped a bunch of nylons. What's it called? String for a weed eater. What do they call them things? Edger, I guess. Yeah, things are falling off all over the place here. All right, so thanks everybody for being patient again. We'll get back to it. And at some point, I was describing what the show gets into here, the way we format it. We'll get into the news here, then what's happening on YouTube as far as Second Amendment, and then the gun stuff, and then some of the interviews and things. What's wrong, puppy? Now I feel like he's having a problem over here. First thing let's talk about, and I believe it's showing up on the screen. I've got my screens all wonky today because of the lack of having everything prepared the way I normally do. So the first thing is Gun Rights Policy Conference unprecedentedly, without precedent, has figured out when their next gun rights policy conference is going to be and when and where. They've never been able to tell us sooner than like 3 months ahead of time or something. So unprecedented. It's going to be in California this year. So the gun rights policy conference, the 50th anniversary of it, used to be in 1984. So does that make it 1974? No, 1984. But whatever. 50 years ago, it's going to be in San Diego. So first off, is that a good idea? And then second off, are you going? Who's going to San Diego? San Diego's a nice place. So who's going to San Diego to see the Gun Rights Policy Conference in September next year? All right, so next thing in the list is the Duck Stamp Modernization Act signed into law. By the way, almost everything in this first section comes from the NSSF, except for that part. This has nothing to do with NSSF. They didn't even mention it. This comes from the SAF's news. But all the rest of this from here down, this whole section, comes from the National Shooting Sports Foundation, which is the NSSF, which is essentially the firearms industry's liaison with the government. It's a national level nonprofit organization designed to facilitate the firearms industry, essentially. So hunting issues, ammunition and materials handling and serialization and compliance with regulatory stuff, all this like nerdy stuff that has to be done just to make machines that work and to make sure materials don't get like strategic use of materials. All right, is it working now? Or are we working again? All right, is it working now? Or are we working again? Huh. I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it's when I touch the microphone. I bought it used, so it's possible that it was already cruddy when I got it. That is possible. Could be that the co-host was chewing on the wire. You know, he does stuff like that. He chews on things. So we were talking about one of the senators who has been pressuring or asking the ATF why they stopped investigating the cartel, the guns being sent to the cartels. And there's a couple of different names for that now. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to that one. Then there's a, from the, what's that show on? The Reload. I quit listening to The Reload this year, but I noticed that the NSSF referenced that they leaked a document that showed the Biden's strategy, I guess, to keep the ban on importation going. Now I'm all paranoid that the wire isn't working. I want to put this. I'm going to put this over here because right now I have it set up, so I have to almost turn around. I have so many monitors. I had to turn around in order to. Is mucho estupido. It's working now. Is mucho es good. All right, so getting back to it. This dog's gonna get such a whooping for this mic failures. We give him a whooping for every mic failure, essentially. So then, if we get past the ATF, the ATF decided to stop sending or to stop investigating the firearms going to the cartels. Then we have Biden leaking a memo that he's going to mess with exportations. I think it's exportations. Put crazy restrictions on exportations to essentially make them not happen anymore. No, looking at the mic extra cautiously now. So it's moving around. Maybe those wires are bad and it's when it wiggles around or something. I'm scared to try pushing the plugs back in. Next time it fails, if it fails again, I'll smash all the wires in and out. Make sure that there's not like a plug problem. The next thing is because of the Biden administration messing with the exportation, some senator put through 3531, the Protect American Gun Export Act. I guess that's the Page Act. And then Florida is going to be, I don't know what I should say there. There was this article in the NSSF thing about Florida looking into revising some of the heinous gun control
gun owner control measures that were put in, including changing the age to purchase from 21 down to 18. They're looking at reversing that, and they're looking at removing the 3-day waiting period. So I don't know what to call, I like to think of the eraser as an option. That's what happened here in Arizona when we got constitutional carry. They didn't write a law that said now there's constitutional carry back in 2010. Instead, they just took an eraser to the law and erased all the part that said you can't carry a concealed, right? And they erased all that part. So they did change law, but they didn't write law. They erased law. And this is essentially what it sounds like they're doing in Florida. I'm no lawyer, but this is the way I'm picturing it. So I definitely like to see that mentioned. I don't know how many people are paying attention to that. We hear about the wins and losses. This is more of it's a reversal. So it's a win, but it was a loss. It's a reversal on that loss. There's another one in Vermont that's similar. The Vermont Federation of Sportsmen's Clubs is suing the state over 2 laws there. Again, the 3-day waiting period. But there also, the other one is they have a ban on standard capacity magazines. But that's, again, great to see. I don't know who's instigating it in Florida. There's Florida carry, but I don't know if they're doing it or not. But in Vermont, it's the Vermont Federation of Sportsmen's Clubs. Now, BJ's not around, and I don't know who else listens this late from Nebraska, but the Nebraska Firearms Owners Association, NFOA is how they like to have it pronounced, NFOA, filed lawsuits against the cities of Omaha. I should say, this is the way it should be said, been written. Filed lawsuits against the cities of Lincoln and mutually of Omaha over recent local executive orders that violate the state law and constitutional rights. So you may not know, but even though Nebraska has constitutional carry, 2 cities decided, screw, what's that called? State preemption, and we'll just do what we want. So now NFOA, the Nebraska Firearms Owners Association, is filing lawsuits against those 2 cities. So here, even though they have a panhandle, they're getting their act together. Maybe we'll see a Nebraska remove the panhandle campaign. Let's see, the next one would be the Baltimore mayor suing to release the Tyhart Amendment trace data. So the Tyhart Amendment, when did that happen? The Tyhart Amendment might have been like 2004 or 2014. I have to go look. But it did a couple of things, and it was essentially to protect information from anti-rights bigots who were using information, public information, like the public freedom of information requests. They were using freedom of information request results to just mess with people and to bully people and intimidate them. But they were also potentially messing with investigations and essentially messing with undercover investigations and long-term law enforcement efforts or whatever. So they made this, the Tyhart Amendment, which essentially said freedom of information doesn't apply to a bunch of stuff, including criminals who like criminal gun shops, essentially, so that the news doesn't say, here's the criminal gun shops in town, which doesn't sound like a bad idea, but the problem is if they're investigating them or something, then it messes with them. I don't know how that all plays out, but essentially that's the reason they created the Tyhart Amendment back in the day. And there's more to it than that, but it was to protect the industry from harassment from organizations and and journalism. Journalists? I don't know if it protected them from journalists or it just restricted journalists from violating the rights of people under the guise of free speech. Then we get to Second Amendment stuff. So, most important thing that happens each week is the consistent effort done by Brooke Cheney on suicide prevention, mental health awareness, normalizing conversation so that both we can have conversations with both people on our side and people that are against our rights and our property. For whatever reasons it is, they're standing on the graves of those who have committed suicide, and having the ability to address that can solve things. It can change people's opinion and perspective and awareness. So Brooke's consistent effort to change, to offer information and to change the narrative is commendable, is more than commendable. It's the best thing that happens. It should be really a part of most shows, at least normalizing mental health awareness in some way or another. We'd lead the way in society for that element. Maybe not lead the way, but we'd certainly be on the front end of the curve in that, and it wouldn't hurt us at all as a community and as a culture, a gun culture. We've done it with safety. No one made us be safe with guns. We figured that out. Jeff Cooper said it all for us in the 60s or some shit, but we all figured that stuff out a long time ago just because we're rational and we understand that a tiny, small, dangerous thing needs to be, dealt with responsibly. So we made sure to ensure that for people we cared about. It's just natural. So, we've done that. We did it with hunting. We figured it out with hunting the wildlife itself and how to maintain it in nature. Same way that we maintain a herd in captivity or a flock in captivity, we understand how to maintain them in the wild, and we know how to manage the resources, the land that they're in as well, and when to leave some and where to remove the critters if there's too many critters for the amount of land. So we've done this stuff without laws. Sometimes there's laws when people step on each other doing that stuff, but in general that stuff's sort of natural. So the idea that we don't talk about this stuff is really a cultural thing. So we can take that back, and we do ourselves a lot of good to do that. And Brooke offers a way to do that. So you can watch her show. You can support what she's doing on Saturdays. I think I heard that Hillbilly's going to be on her show this week. So I don't know if that means there's going to be a bunch of people on, or if he's just going to be on. So Alex Uli, the Forge of Freedom podcast, broadcast. I forgot how many hours this was. Let's open it up. This is about 3/4 coffee and 1/4 hot chocolate.
You'll hear an argument this morning in case 22-915.
So I don't know if that doesn't necessarily cure hiccups all that well. Keeps me awake though. So it's an hour and a half long. It's not that long. Hour and a half long. The oral arguments for the Raheny case. I'm gonna start calling it the Tahini case. So I started listening to that. I don't know how much I listened to, maybe 15 minutes or half an hour, just not sure. But that was pretty interesting, actually. So I'm going to listen to more of that. Drink a bunch of coffee and I start yawning. What's up with that? All right, so then Walk Talk America did their podcast, and they had Laura Smith on from the Liberal Gun Club. I have not listened to that one. I might. Then we got Ed's Manifesto and Dee Moliere do their they do a combo show once a month for the last few months, and this one was a Q&A, so pretty interesting one. always worth listening to, talking about the situation south of the border here with Mexico, the international border with Mexico. Well, what used to be south of the international border with Mexico, now just involving the border with Mexico because it's on both sides. Then there was this new Gun Owners of America, show of hands. A bunch of people joining us live tonight. How many people are listening on the regular basis to the new Gun Owners of America show with the dude and the girl who interview people from the industry, like marketing people from the industry? This week they had Rapid Fire Rachel on. I'd say it's probably the best one I've heard so far of that show. Let's see, then we had the professors in. Okay, so this is Professor Yamane talking to people who might want to be a Second Amendment author or researcher, I guess. So I muted it there. Did that have anything to do with the mic kicking out? No. Did it go out again? Did it go out before? I've been watching the mic because it changed color when it goes out. Oh man, I'm yawning. Drink like 2 cups of espresso coffee here, so I think I'd be awake for this show. I don't know, maybe I should start just doing this show in the middle of the day, like one of them regular podcasts. Let's see. So then, in addition to Professor Imane doing his thing, we had one dude from Gun Owners of America who took over from that other guy. Did a 10 ways anti-gunners lost in 2023. I don't know. Yeah. That'd be an interesting concept for a video, though. I'd like to do one on the top 10 wins, or maybe all of our wins this year. That would be cool. I think that would be a nice side effect or a side product of having a scoreboard like I plan on building. So at some point when we get the scoreboard built, we'll be able to click a button or someplace and filter results or whatever, and we'll have this many things happened in 2023 or whatever. But if I remember, I listened to the list and I was like, okay. I don't know if we need to be patting ourselves on the back. But that being said, I do have a poll going, and for this week at least, what is going on? I'm scared to touch the mic, so I'm moving my head all around the mic instead of normally I'd be smacking the mic out of my way. So we have a poll going. There we go. We have a poll going and got a bunch of votes. So far, most people are voting okay week for 2A. And then there's some votes for great week, 33% for great week, 67% for okay week. I don't know about you, but those results seem weird to me. So I'm going to go check because I usually challenge people to leave a comment about why you voted like you did. I think I've got my buffer overflow. It's quantirated. Was another Fast and Furious to give them the fake news. Brings in the bad boy stuff. I don't even know. I think they're scared crapless to even talk about the border because it's such a mess. I thought I seen someone comment about the poll though. Oh, here we go. Ryan is saying, I would say it was an okay week, no major wins nor losses. I guess so. Definitely nothing major, right? I guess, was there wins and losses? Yeah. And one of the things I'm having trouble with, we finally got another vote in there for good week. So now we have a little bit of variety in the mix. One of the things that's frustrating for me, at least, is to keep track of let's say I look at the NSSF newsletter this week, or you watch this show this week, because that's kind of the same thing, because I copy off of them for that first section of the show. So, they say that some bill gets introduced to block Biden's disinterest in watching the guns go to cartels, or to maybe question why they're not paying attention to the guns going to cartels. And then next week it says the same thing, or worse, 2 weeks from now it says something about that same bill. Trying to keep track of if that's a new bill, or if that's an update on an existing bill, or if it's a brand new thing, like that can be, for me at least, difficult to keep track of. So having all that figured out would be, or a way to figure that out for us would be nice, considering we have like AIs and other kinds of robots to do this, all kinds of other stuff for us. So we're getting more and more votes over here. Thanks to everybody who is voting. I should mention that I know a lot of people on YouTube will charge you every time you vote, or even sometimes just to talk about the results of the poll. We don't play those games over here, so it's absolutely free. You can vote for free. There will be no charge on your credit card to vote this evening. So I always say that till somebody does something more useful more often, then I'm going to consider Suicide Prevention Saturday the most Second Amendment thing that happens each week. But there were these other things, like I guess I already got down halfway through there, so that was actually all of them. So there, I just won't even summarize all that. Next, we'll get into gun talk, the basics of firearm safety. Oh, that was she fires. So usually leading off over here, she fires, unless she does a 2A topic, and then she gets booted up into the top column there, the top section. But on Sundays, she fires does a long format live show. I don't know what to call it. It's more than a conversation, because she's got some structure to it. She brings a topic, she brings some research, and they go over stuff. So she's doing a good show each week that's building on awareness and information. Then we have, this is from Armed Attorneys. It's much easier when we're doing this in Substack, because these turn into the video thumbnails, and you can tell right away from the thumbnails whose channel they are. When you're just looking at titles like this, trying to remember which channel it is pretty tough. But this was Armed Attorneys. I guess you could say this was a 2A one, maybe, but it's really more strategy for self-defense. So I put it under gun stuff. I consider self-defense gun stuff more than 2A. I don't know what your feelings are on that. Feel free to leave some feedback. But it was an interesting show. I think that was from today, actually. Or else, yeah, I think it was from today, maybe yesterday. Then we had, how come Rapid Fire's up here? Something happened. I must have mixed something up. But Rapid Fire is the, I got it in here twice, so I'll just leave it for now. The radio show from Cape Gun Works, and somehow it got stuck in here twice. Hope you probably did it. Our friends over at Bullets for Bucks, it's been posting a bunch of different rifle videos, comparisons. This one is the Weatherby.
Are you going to let the greedy
Mark
heating
5.
companies and their crazy high prices decide if your family is allowed to stay warm this winter?
No. This one is, well, he'll tell you here in a second.
Howdy there, folks. My name's Stephen, and welcome to Bullets for Bucks. Today, we're going to be comparing the Weatherby Mark V Backcountry 2.0 Carbon against the Sako S20 Precision. The Weatherby Backcountry 2.0 comes with a 3D hex recoil pad that's extremely lightweight and pretty stiff. Fortunately, this one doesn't deform like the first variant did when stored. Has a hand-laid Peak 44 carbon fiber stock that's beautiful. Sling swivel stud. Coming forward a little bit heavier than normal palm swell, which I like. I do prefer flush cup 8.6 performed at the range. Wait. Just about a quarter inch from the first.
So if you want to check out some bolt action rifle comparisons, check out Bullets for Bucks. Pretty good stuff. Let's see, then we have, this is from Gun Owners Radio. That's the San Diego gun owners who do the radio show on Sundays. They do it live. A couple of us watch it live together. And then they take the show down and then usually post a few clips from the show throughout the week. And that's what we're looking at here, I think. Or this is just something actually they posted on their channel from this gun owner symposium. And it's this guy, I don't know his name, Matthias something, talking about, and I don't know why they're calling it CCW Lifestyle 2.0, because it's not, be like 5.0, maybe 7.0 is more like it, but whatever. Interesting to listen to if you're an old person listening to it, or if you're an old person, it might be interesting to listen to it and then have a conversation with somebody about it because of the points brought up and the way they were addressed. And if you're new and you've watched this, then I encourage you to check out some old stuff and watch it. And, they're not different. They're not exactly the same, but they're different. And they're also almost exactly the same. So it's hard to explain that what goes around comes around. I've mentioned it lots of times. So I want to check it out. It's essentially like watching a person and then their grandson say the same thing with different words, like to one audience and then 2 generations later or whatever it is to a different audience, but they're saying the same thing. And they're kind of both saying it like, we discovered this. It's, nobody else figured this out, but here's the answers. It's interesting. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but I've been around long enough to start seeing the same stuff being said by different generations of people. That's the way to say it. And that means I get the Groundhog's Day effect. I've seen, and you, depending on how old you are, you've seen this too. You've seen people, let's say in 2010, you were watching a bunch of people on YouTube say their thing, and a bunch of them were saying this, and a bunch of them were saying that, and then maybe they even said a third thing. And some of them were right, and some of them were wrong, right? And then the next time around, instead of being 3 things, there was only 2 things. Or maybe the next time around, instead of being 3 things, one of them was obviously wrong. Maybe there was 4 things, and maybe things change. So you get to start to see that. And watching this Matthias do his presentation was eye-opening. Let's see. Then we have. I got to drink some coffee for this one. So why don't we take a quick commercial break? Now you can check underneath your chairs. The puppy co-host, was tasked with leaving some hot chocolate with everyone. So there should be a hot water bottle bladder full of hot chocolate, gluten-free hot chocolate with a bunch of marshmallows. And in honor of Marshmallow, we'll play this commercial and you can enjoy some hot chocolate.
Hey, did you know that you could help support our future projects and let everyone know you're a fan of what we do? Check out our print-on-demand store. We have a tab here on YouTube. When you click on it, you can choose from a bunch of different items we have, shirts and posters and coffee mugs. Click on the one you like. When you find the design you want to put on it, choose a color and a size if it's appropriate. And when you purchase these items, a portion goes to help fund our future projects. We really do appreciate your support. You get some cool stuff. When you get that stuff, post pictures here and on other platforms, and we'll hook you up next time you order from our Gear website store. Thank you for your support of gunwebsites.com.
All right. So yeah, that definitely gives me time to drink some coffee and get ready for this next one. Oh, I'm not even sharing the screen anymore, am I? I'm just sitting here looking at my icon. Buy things from GRPC.com. Buy things from GRPC.com. buy things from your website. Okay, so now we can bring this up. Sorry about that. I thought we were looking at this screen together. Here's all the stuff we have been talking about that you didn't see, I guess. So, next up, criminal defense attorneys respond to USCCA spokesman's review of attorneys on retainer. Is anybody watching this drama? Anybody watching this? What's going down? What's being said? Did I lose audio again? Oh no, DJ's out here. Welcome. You're dropping a link to our Patreons. Again, thanks to our Patreons. People that, some of them are buying us a cup of coffee each month. Some of them are buying us lunch. And that allows us to continue to do what we do, literally. And maybe I should buy another mic one of these days. Let's see, so is anybody watching this? What's going on? Criminal defense attorneys respond to USCCA. So I don't know when it started. I got into it somewhere in this era right here. I think I seen this one, and then I went back and was like, what's this about? And then I watched the one that started this one, and then this one came out earlier today. They are lying to you. USCCA Chief Executive Officer confronts deceptive claims. So there's a whole like little drama happening. So if you're interested in that one, check it out, and if and when you do, we can have more of a discussion about it. I don't need to gossip if no one's out there paying attention to it, but it is certainly a thing that's happening right now of some significance, I'd say. The consequences of that one will be interesting, to say the least, I suspect. All right, the next one is yet another channel being affected and potentially dropping off the scene. A valuable channel, in my opinion. The 2A Cops, the project where two cops that were cops in California. I think they were both cops in the San Francisco area, but not in the same department. But they both had retired and they both moved out of California, and in their next careers, they'd become this YouTube channel that would inform people about the different goings on of the day as far as the politics and the laws and potential bills and things. And they'd give a perspective from law enforcement, and it was a great dynamic when they were together, but then they'd also just offer individually contributions to this channel, and it's gone, or at least the one dude is gone. So none of this stuff is forever. We don't have an iron beam of justice. It'd be nice, to have some kind of non-rusting iron stainless steel beam of justice that we could just all depend on and all hang off of. And, we're always right because we got this beam of justice. But in reality, liberty is a bunch of individuals carrying a bunch of burden, as far as we can, as long as we can, when we can. So sometimes we have a lot of people come into the mix and everybody grabs hold, and, it's easy to do it because everybody's doing it and everybody's holding on. So you essentially just have to stand there and not be a dingus, and everything works great. But then there's those times when most of the people walk away, and all that burden, all that effort for it to stay going at all, it lands on the shoulders just a couple of people. So it gets really obvious and really apparent when one ditches out right before SHOT Show too. So right before an election year, it's just frustrating. So we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 giant channels, giant interests in entities and Second Amendment stuff, who have the experience of having found their niche, dominated, or at least thoroughly explored their niche, become comfortable creating content for their niche, and therefore become a resource for people to look at without them there, what happens the next time news of the day happens, and everyone looks over to see, from their counsel, their perspective, their insight, and it isn't there anymore. So imagine that, bigger and smaller, all over the place. Everybody's got a role. Everybody's role isn't necessarily always apparent, but no drop thinks it's responsible for the flood. No little pebble thinks it's responsible for the avalanche, and at the same time, no little pebble realizes it's responsible for stopping a massive avalanche. Right? A little pebble gives up, and a little rock falls with it, and then a big boulder topples over, and then the side of the hill comes down. So everybody's got a role out there, and it's frustrating to see an entity leave that was offering a chunk, of valuable insight. Anyway, so then we get the overnight every Saturday night at this time of night, an overnight show. DM Foss hosts a overnight every other week and a mouse party every other week. So it'll be a mouse party this week. Last week it was an overnight. Pretty good show, in my opinion. We always watch a couple of different radio shows that happen online, but technically you can listen to them on the internet as well. You could listen to them on a radio as well. And that's Rapid Fire Radio that gets recorded on Wednesdays. They had been traveling the week before, right? So this was the first week back. Then Plate Society. Paul was on earlier today with Alex Uli and alluded that he'd have, he had not ended the show, that it's done on a regular basis, but Paul will host, the occasional show when he can or when it's important. So they were coming back to kind of push the buttons there. Normally we would have some stuff about the gun calendars once I have a minute. And again, appreciate everyone's patience with my lack of being able to keep up to a normal level of content creation over here. But definitely been killing a lot of bills. And Black Friday and Christmas, is when capitalists do all their capitalizing. So capitalized on as much of that capitalism as I could. Now that we come out of that section of the year, I can get back into spending time on things like the gun calendar segment of the show. I find it interesting to know what's coming as far as events, like we talked about the Gun Rights Policy Conference, but also, DJ's out here. Did you see that the Nebraska Firearms Owners Association filed lawsuits against the cities of Omaha and Lincoln over recent local executive orders that violate state law and constitutional rights? But again, so that we know what kind of stuff is happening today or, in the future in real time, but also just to know the history, what happened 100 years ago today, or when this happened or when that happened. I like to keep track of that stuff and use this show and other, our daily show as a way to keep that stuff on the minds and tongues of everybody. It helps normalize guns. We're having a conversation around the water cooler or something. Hey, today's the Colt invented the interchangeable parts that a lot of history books will say Eli Whitney had something to do with, when in reality it was Colt that created interchangeable parts. That with the help of Ford would create the Industrial Revolution. Well, yeah, revolvers are responsible for that. Let's see. So then we get to the military interview shows. There's a couple of those that I like to watch each week. And they were pretty much all really good this week. I already mentioned Ed's Manifesto and Dean Moyer were on their monthly show. I guess I have that in there twice, but it's that good. Mike Drop, the SEAL and dog handler, does a interview show each week, and this week he had this guy on who's from the French Foreign Legion, And if a normal show of Mike's has 17,000 views, or no, what was it, 170,000 views, this one had like 263,000. So this one had almost double the amount of views, and these interviews get a lot of views. So this was a lot of people listening to this, or people listening to it twice. So I just barely had a chance to listen to it today, and I listened to about a half of it, and it is pretty interesting. This guy's pretty crazy, or had pretty crazy, interesting adventures throughout his life. And I only listened to half of it. Oh man, I'm even with 2 cups of coffee, I'm feeling the lateness of the night. Our stuff that happened this week, we started off the week with Liberty's Echo, our show where we chat with Second Amendment advocates. I'm toying with the idea of having a guest on, every week or so for a while, and then take those or invite all those guests and round them up and have a group discussion. So a couple of Alex and Brooke agreed to join me for that, and I'll try to do that with more heads up, I guess, in the future, so that more of the guests join in. But my interview project, my goal is to offer the guests to the interviews. I'm going to move my microphone. Is to offer the guests of the interview an opportunity to just talk for an hour on why they do what they do and how they do what they do, so that they don't just have to talk about their project and like give us an elevator speech or just promote something or just tell us why they, their origin story, because they've done that before. But our goal is to give them an hour to talk about why they do what they do. I think most people that create content are doing it with some reason, for some goal, have some maybe an origin story, but some passion that drives them. And this is our conversation, is to give them that ability, that opportunity to talk about that stuff. So that's great. They have an hour to talk about that. But then what if we want to get into it? Like, I try not to interrupt them. So what if we want to talk about some of the things they brought up? Well, that's what this second show is all about. Bringing the people together and following up on some things, letting them expand on some stuff, let the audience ask some questions, and and have a bunch of people on the same panel, so if they haven't met each other, get an opportunity to meet, but also just have another opportunity to chat with each other, where it's not, about whatever news of the day or, project, or maybe a fundraiser, or, some, there's just a more casual, less scripted or less focused opportunity to chat. So I think it worked out pretty well. And, going forward, again, thanks to Patreons, I'm definitely going to continue to effort towards that. The goal is to get us all knowing each other, so that we all can understand each other's strengths and weaknesses. We can all rely on each other and understand what each other's needs are. Together, we each accomplish more. That's what teamwork is, TEAM. Together, we each accomplish more. All right, next is Second Amendment on Instagram. We do this show here, except looking at Instagram instead of YouTube, to wipe Instagram on YouTube a little bit, but also so that we create a hour, sometimes 2 hour long script that I can take the transcript of, or some robot can take the transcript of, and then have all those different things we talked about, all those concepts and all those projects and all those people that we talk about on the 2A for IG, or on IG chat. All of that gets put on YouTube, which is Google, which is the internet. So our goal is to pick up Instagram, at least the parts of it that are focused on what our Second Amendment protects, and put them on the YouTube or on the internet in a podcast form. So it's sometimes interesting. It's like listening to Instagram every Wednesday from the perspective of what the Second Amendment protects. And then we have this was from Pat. I think I'm showing the screen so I can click on this. Pat and Bunker bought some stuff. Not that many people, only 5 people have bought stuff from the Gear website store this month. What am I saying? the month of December. So
Hey guys, Pat in the bunker here. Got some mail from G-Webs, ordering some patches, which were those two guys right there, some spam cam patches. But I ordered it on Free Patch Friday and got all of this. So yeah, just wanted to give a quick shout out to G-Webs. Head on over there for stickers, patches, all sorts of stuff. And I thought this was cool. 80% patch kit, very awesome. But all those stickers and everything I got on top of that. So very, very cool. So anyway, for all your needs for stickers and patches, and he's got a whole bunch of stuff. Go check him out. G-Webs.
So thanks again to Pat, and thanks again to the people who buy stuff over at the store. Oh, man. So thanks to Pat, and I totally lost my place. Way down. So thanks to Pat, and now I can go down. No, that was it. So great. I went all the way down for nothing. StreamYard puts this little link into our stuff now. So StreamYard is the software that I'm using to create this live stream. And it costs us $25 a month. Thanks again to our Patreons who help pay for that, or that do pay for that technically. And if you want to get your own version of StreamYard, because you can afford to buy a $25 a month package, I guess a lot of people can do that. It's like buying Netflix. It's way more useful and fun than Netflix. But anyway, you get a $10 credit if you use this link over here, and then we get some sort of a credit at some point also. So thanks for that if you do. But StreamYard started putting that in here. You can turn that on if you're on StreamYard. You just turn that on. I should say you can turn that on and it'll just automatically post every time you post a video. StreamYard will just automatically add that. All right, so now we have the spectrum. That's what we call it. So unless someone gives us a specific reason for their vote, we're going to assume most of these votes, because they're free, are spam. Because who would vote for a bad week? What was up? Why was it a bad week? Thanks, DJ, for dropping links over here, but it looks like that's all we're getting for comments. Nobody's really saying nothing. We got a ton of people out there, so either something's broke or everybody's sleeping, because it's possible everybody could be sleeping. But I don't know, nobody's justifying like a bad week vote. You don't have to out yourself, but feel free to leave a comment on why you voted the way you did. Gunswater saying it was another Fast and Furious to give them a fake reason to ban more new stuff. Yeah, I think I hit that one already. It goes to static before cutting out. Okay. What I'll do is I'll end it here pretty quick. Nobody's really saying anything anyway, so I'm guessing everybody's either asleep or busy doing something. We'll end it, and then what I'll do is just kind of unplug and replug everything in again. Maybe it's Arizona, so maybe some dust or some heat shrinkage or something, right? The warping from going from super cold. Look, it is 50 degrees outside, super cold, and it was 70 something earlier. So that drastic 20-degree temperature change may have messed with it. Brian's checking in. Welcome. Or saying hey, thanks. But with that, I think we'll wrap this thing up. I feel like I should have said something else, but I am on fumes at this point. I can't keep awake. So there was something else I was going to mention. Of course, Merry Christmas to everybody. If you don't do Christmas, then I don't know what your holidays. I don't even hardly know what Christmas is, so it's not like I don't know when. I don't know when any holidays are. It's just that Christmas everybody talks about. So that's what I'm going to say. But yeah, happy holiday to whatever holidays you got going on this time of year. But at the same time, I'm more than aware of people that don't do nothing this time of year, and it gets annoying to hear people get into all that. So I will just as much say, I know you don't have to be like bah humbug to just not be into this stuff. So Gizzard is having a show on Christmas morning if you want to participate in a live conversation. I'm sure they will be talking about Christmassy stuff and everything. They're not anti-Christmas or nothing, but again, I can definitely appreciate people that don't have the same appreciation that a lot of people do this time of year. What's going on? We have I have something I'm doing until most of the day tomorrow, and then I'm done doing some stuff that's been distracting me from my thing. I'm hoping that I can try to get the calendar up and running next week. At least I'm going to try. I had planned to do it the week after Thanksgiving, but an opportunity came up to kill some more bills. So that's what I've been trying to do. Otherwise, don't be saying anything else. Looks like a lot of people ditched out as I started to wrap it up here. I can't bring the camera back on. I don't know what's going on with the camera. Let me try again. So, like I said, I need to maybe plug everything. Oh, it's showing up as a thing again. We got puppy cam again. I think we do. I'm going to try to move the camera also. There we go, puppy camera. We can end the show with a puppy. This will be the last show that y'all listen to live on this show before Christmas, right? Because Christmas will be, Monday. So, Merry Christmas again. And again, I don't have any idea when the other holidays are, but happy whatever other holiday it is you might be dealing with or lack of. Like I say, I keep feeling like I'm missing something here. I'll end the poll. Oh, maybe it's this. Mentioned Pat had grabbed something from the store last week. We've only had like 5 orders from the store, and we are giving away a Civivi knife, which I don't have anywhere near me right now. But let's assume this pink pen will be the stand-in for the Civivi knife that will be given away, and this Civivi knife will be given away to someone who's purchased something over at our gear website store in the month of December. And right now, the odds are 1 in 5 because there's only been 5 sales this month. The whole month of December. Coughing fit again. The whole month of December, only 5 orders. So great odds. Go grab something from the store. If you've ordered something in the past and it's Christmas time, you're going to get piled with stuff. So that'll be our end plug. And yeah, it must have been the other thing I was thinking about. There was something else I was thinking about maybe, but can't think of it now anymore. Looking all around. Yeah, I guess that's it. Let's see, today's Saturday, so we have a show scheduled for tomorrow for Ask Gun Questions. We'll see if I can get it in there. Like I say, I'm trying to kill some bills here before the end of the month. Hillbilly's got a show. Brooke has her suicide prevention Saturday in the afternoon. For some reason, I'm thinking, does Chris have something scheduled? And then, of course, Voss, I believe, already has one scheduled. Maybe I'm crazy. So hopefully you'll have a fun weekend with the live chats. And my camera's unplugged. I don't know if my audio ran out, but yeah. We'll end this one. Thanks everybody for joining.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
Shit. Ninja? Ninja! Ninja!
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.